هلا my lecture اليوم شوي it's going to be in English basically. But I can understand English and Arabic, so you can ask me, and I would like your feedback from you in whatever language you use. I'm a family communication counselor. I do parenting, counseling, and parents, children, if they have any problem if parents have any issues with their children, or couple therapy, husband-wife relationships, if there are any conflicts leading to divorce, for example, they come to me before they go to divorce, hoping that we can fix their relationship. So I deal with the communication inside the family as a system, whether husband, wife, or parent, children. And at the same time, it focus my approach now slowly. It's focusing more on. I'm working more on trauma as the original problem in our society. We are a very much traumatized society. Trauma, يعني صدمات نفسية. Any events happening through development, family development, or sudden events, let's say war. So how we deal with such issues, and working with refugees on how to basically alleviate, treat their traumas, basically, PTSD. Today my focus is on the relationship between family and social media or digital media. I call digital media, it's the big umbrella. Inside digital media there's social media. So it's the interaction between family members and digital media. And I would like first to start with this caricature. I have a page, if you can check it, Facebook, on Facebook, Family Communication. I post many articles and I write posts myself. So I share information with my audience, if there's we call them audience or friends. And from time to time, I work with graphic designers on caricatures. And this one is basically, it reflects basically a mother is opening in the middle of the night and seeing her child on his cell phone. And she's saying, يا ريت تقعد على درسك قد ما بتقعد على الواتساب. I wish you can spend more time on your studies as much as you spend it on WhatsApp. And this is kind of an issue with parents today, is what's happening. There's a big anxiety that I will discuss during this session. And I would like to show you kind of a historical overview. Long time ago, those used to be our family pictures. صح? Okay, what do you notice in those pictures? Sorry? Different types of families. صح. I downloaded those from internet, okay? From many sources. Okay, مجتمعين. They are gathered together. There's a hierarchy, there's a distance, power distance basically, yes? Yes, exactly. Not smiling. They didn't smile back then when posing for pictures. You know why? La, they were very happy. Why? No.
It is because taking a picture took so long.
Yes.
So they had to wait maybe for like an hour.
Yes.
So they couldn't smile for too long. So they just.
Yes, this is one big reason. There's another reason, which is basically the picture had too much impact and influence, and it was a very, very important event in any family's history, basically. They posed, they prepared for like the whole day, sometimes like for 2-3 days. It's like a wedding. Okay? And they come to the photographer, to the studio, and they posed. Okay? So it had a big impact. It's like a drawing. Yes?
Maybe in the past, picture take a formal shape, no smiling, and formal shape like.
It was more formal. The concept of photography was.
Concept of concept of
Yes, it was more formal. Versus today. Okay. Afan?
It wasn't common to take a picture
Yes.
at that period of time. So this is why they need the time to prepare themselves. And it seems to be like an event for them in order to take certain picture.
Yes. Versus today, for example, and I also downloaded those from internet. I have no idea who are those people. Okay? ما بعرفهم. حياتي شو cute, like sometimes like those are examples of comments on Facebook. الله يخليكم لبعض. Like a family on a ski trip. And then the selfies. Okay? So there's a more and more sense of what we call the vulgarization of photography. Okay, it's becoming more vulgar. In a sense, vulgar, it means every day, يعني كل يوم. Okay, it's the everyday life of using pictures that we're now used to them. And this is one aspect of the change, the social change happening, even in the medium itself. Also, one example, I took this in one of the coffee shops in Beirut without them knowing. Like I was sitting like this, and I noticed the whole family was on their cell phone. So I took this picture. Like you can see, it's tilted. It's not really well taken. So there's a sense of nostalgia back then, even with the TV. Rizq Allah for the TV versus today. Look at the family. There's a sense of we are losing the family. Okay? And I need to pinpoint one thing, is that this anxiety happened for every new medium, basically. When they invented newspapers, they felt the same thing. Like newspapers are going to ruin our society. When they invented radio, radio is going to ruin our society. Cinema was, even before radio, the same thing. It's going to ruin our values. With TV, it was like the big fear. And many research was done on the effect of TV on youth, violence, sex, and violence. And today, there's a sense of what's happening, how social media is affecting our society in a negative way. So there's a sense of anxiety. And anyway, it's not just like the general common people. The governments as well, they're doing many research, or they start long time ago. I mean, they were working on studies to assess this influence. And researchers, especially when we discuss social media unfortunately, from a media effect perspective. You know what's media effect? And the effect of a medium on the society, on the audience themselves. And there are many theories. Do you know theories of media effect? Like? Bullet point theory. Examples, social learning, like if you watch Superman, there's a sense that you're going to imitate Superman and jumping over the rooftop. Modeling, which is cultivation theory as well, this is the effect. It cultivates this notion that the society overall is violent. Okay, if you keep watching violent movies. But what I'm doing and my colleague is doing as well, I mean, when we worked on our paper, that is basically this presentation is based on a paper that we recently wrote. The model we're working on is that we cannot just look at social media from an effect perspective. It's more reductive. It just focuses on one aspect of social media. It's as if there's a sender, message, receiver, and that's it. Okay? And it's in a way biased towards more negativity in the medium. This is another caricature. The child, he's living abroad. I mean, this is a typical Lebanese family now, with their child living abroad, studying abroad. The family is at home, and there's a sense of the generational gap. I mean, this is an extreme. I mean, we don't see a TV, a computer like this anymore. But it's an extreme of the difference of technology, the difference of mentality. And the guy is saying, man, when بعد كنا عايشين انتو? It's like, where are you living? Now, for this band. So there's a sense of, you don't understand me. And at the same time, this shows the idea of societies and families interact and develop their consumption. I mean, they consume social media or digital media, each in their own way. And it's more influenced by many factors, which we call the polymedia. It's like an ecosystem of many factors that contribute to this effect or to this notion of how I'm using it today, why, and what I'm getting from. So the focus, how our approach is basically is very much influenced by the uses and gratification. Like, I use something for a specific purpose and for specific, to gratify, to enjoy, to be entertained, to have fun, or to learn. So there's a specific purpose of using it. And at the same time, it's the idea of giving agency to the audience. Like, who basically thought that Twitter would end up basically being used mainly for journalism? You see what I mean? Like, there's an agency. You have an agency. The child has an agency, has a power of selecting, of choosing how he, she, basically is using the medium itself. And why? And we're going to discuss it now. So basically, the Surtout discusses this notion of the tactical uses of space, that sometimes, for example, a coffee shop is not just serving coffee, it's a place for discussing politics. So people chose to discuss politics in a coffee shop. Let's say a park, for example, instead of just having people sitting and enjoying their life, it becomes a place, a public space to discuss or to be entertained or to have for elders to come and spend time. So it's more like for specific reason. So people choose, they have an agency, not just basically the idea of the creator of technology have in mind a purpose, but at the same time, the audience also have in mind their own needs, basically. When I say family and the way we approach families, it's not just like father, mother, and children. It's not just like the physical the members themselves. Is our approach, and I want you to see families from a communication perspective, is that families are a system that is constantly maintained through communication. It's a unit of different members discussing, talking, interacting, discussing issues, interacting. And here comes the purpose of, the value of digital media is to reinforce this unit, this system. Like many times, for example, you live with a cousin, and this cousin slowly becomes a member of your family. Okay? So family is not just by blood, it's by interaction. This is how I'm defining, and we're defining in this, basically, from this approach. Like, it's a system of different units. Connected together through communication. Now, the main theory of how to approach digital media is called relational dialectics. And it's founded in interpersonal communication. And I see it every day, and I want you also to notice it in you as well. We are made up of different forces, internal forces, conflicting forces. like how our brain functions, by the way, is basically is filtering out. We have in each second, our brain generates many decisions, many conflicting decisions. And there's a specific part in our brain that selects, filter out, no, I want this now, I'm doing it now. So we are made up of many conflicting needs and voices, okay? And this is also generated, and it's also translated on our relationships. So any family is made up of different conflicting forces. And I'm going to discuss those forces. Forces that basically pull the family together, and forces that separate the family, that pulls it apart. And I'm going to explain how. Basically, those are examples of forces. So we have forces of integration and separation. Okay? You as family members, you would love to be with your parents and spend the weekend with your father and mother and your siblings. But at the same time, you need independence, space. So this is the idea of integration, being together, and separation, being apart and gaining more independence and room and space. Okay? And we need those two both at the same, not necessarily at the same time, but we need them. And it's fine to love and to be with our parents, but at the same time to tell them, La, I can't, khalas, it's enough for now. 2 hours are enough. I need 1 hour for myself. Okay? Usually we notice this more and more with teenagers and above. So there are this idea of integration versus separation. Another, basically tension. When I say tension, by the way, it doesn't mean tension, it's something negative. It's just like forces pulling things apart or together, like forces. Use the idea of tension equal force. Stability versus change or unchange. We need at the same time to preserve our family traditions, our routines and rituals. I love, for example, my coffee in the morning. Do you have a ritual, by the way? A daily ritual? Like? Coffee? Not necessarily just morning, but you can, sometimes maybe at night. Pray, yes, okay. Reading? Okay. Could be weekly. Do you have a weekly ritual? Weekly, yes. Mansaf? Eating mansaf every week? Okay, when? Which day? Juma, okay. Eating mansaf on Friday. Mashawi? How do you translate this mashawi? Meat, eating grilled, exactly. Yes. Exactly. So this family gatherings are rituals. Routines, but rituals, the difference between routine and ritual. Routine, you do it automatically, robotically, versus ritual, no, you crave for it. It's part of your identity. It means something to you. Okay? So stability, it involves this idea of keeping things as is versus change. No, we want innovations. We want to try new things. Do you, for example, if you like a restaurant, do you stick to it? Or do you keep trying new restaurants? What type of personality do you have? Try? Or let's say, you keep it both? Interesting. Okay, so the idea of trying new things, new technology, new cell phones, this is the idea of change. So we need, in each one of us has this tendency, and we communicate it with our family members as well. Okay? Expression versus non-expression, another dialectical tension, is the idea of I'm expressing, I'm talking, I'm expressing I'm self-disclosing my secrets to you. Expression, talking, communication. I have a conflict with you, so I go and talk to you. Versus non-expression, I prefer to keep it to myself. Like for example, emotions. Do you express your emotions? Or do you keep them to yourself? we usually keep negative emotions to ourselves, to a certain extent, although it's not really healthy. You should talk about your anger and frustration. So this is the idea of expression versus non-expression. And we add to it the idea of authority versus fluid structure. How much there's a control in the family. There's a power struggle. Parents, children, sometimes between husband and wife. So this is the idea of authority. Who has the authority? By authority, sometimes we mean power, and by power we mean the control, which is in a way to predict what the other person is doing. And I want you to remember this, because sometimes social media, children using social media would make their parents crazy would drive their parents crazy because they don't know what they're doing. They can't predict. So this idea of authority. They don't have authority over them. So in our model basically is social media or digital media is not just, we can't approach it from a positive or negative effect. It's more related to the idea of it's a catalyst. It's a tool that we use it to solve our tensions. Okay? And the whole lecture today is about the idea of how social media is used as a catalyst for dialectical tensions. Okay? So digital media do not impose one type of effect or another. Rather, individuals use digital media to cope with the tensions based on the particularities of their cases. Okay, this is key. Now I'm going to start with every dialectical tension. I'll explain it more in detail, and I want you to give me stories that would basically would be kind of an example of what I'm saying. Okay? I'm relying on you. I'm not going to discuss my stories. I have plenty of stories about this. Okay? So the first tension is integration and separation. Mainly with integration and separation as tensions, there's a sense of physical distance, the regulation of distance. I'm with you, but at the same time, I need my space. So the idea of distance regulation. And it's not just the physical, it's emotional. I love you, but also I need my space as well. So it's the idea of the tension in terms of emotions. I love you, but I love my friend as well, that person as well. I'm not just yours. Okay, emotional, and at the same time identity. I am part of this family unit, but I also want to be part of another social club. So where's my identity here? And many times identity is basically layers of social identity, personal and social identity. So you would like to be part of this family, you feel proud of being part of this family, but at the same time, you also are proud of being in another social group. This idea of identity. When we discuss also separation and integration, many times we focus on how sometimes social media or digital media help us escape, the idea of escapism, to be in the virtual because I don't like the real. Okay? I can't accept what's happening today in my life, so I run to the virtual. And this idea of escapism. In psychology, we call it sometimes, it's mainly dissociation. I dissociate myself from the real to an ideal world. And sometimes escapism will end up, sometimes, I'm not saying every time, but sometimes to an addiction. I'm more into, which like the extreme of escapism is an addiction of virtual. I'm there, I don't want to come back. Connecting communities and at the same time, when we discuss relational tensions. It's like not just family, inside the family, we have integration, separation between families. So when who's now, for example, you're now in Lebanon with a family in Lebanon, for example, Syrian refugees. They have families in Syria, family members in Lebanon, other family members in Germany. Okay? You have another family. So the communication, the separation and integration of those families together creates this tension as well. There's a tension as well in terms of their communication, which is, in a way, we can look at it from the migration and mobilization. And how much, there's a study done on how much social, digital media basically increased migration over history. I mean, today's migration, today we have more immigrants. One of the big factors of this increase of immigration is because of digital media. Do you know why? What, sorry?
I was just saying, quicker access to information.
Yes, it's almost like, I mean, you can talk to your friend in the US now, it's almost now, instantly. So it's easier. You see what I mean? So it's easier for me to think in terms of, yes, I can go and live there. I'm not really so much separated from my parents or from my extended family. Now I want you to give me stories of people you know personally, or your stories that would reflect the integration, separation tension, and how a story that basically it represents your use or people's use of social media and how, or digital media, and how this is basically, I mean, I need examples from your life in terms of this tension. Yes.
Well, actually, I'd like to share just a story about myself and my son. In a certain age, he preferred to be separated because he wants to, let's say, build his own character and personality. So he preferred to communicate with, let's say, certain guys and certain parties. Here I felt that my role is just to guide him in order to be able to distinguish between the good and bad things without having, let's say, a powerful impact on his character, because in a certain age, especially when they are adults and teenagers, they need to build their own personality and character. This is the way how they will direct themselves in life and draw their path and know what they want to study or what kind of career they want to go on. So if I, let's say, impacted on him and used my power, surely this will result to bad impact on his personality and character. So this is how I see integration and separation.
Okay, thank you. You can comment on each other's stories. It's fine.
في أحدث ثورة التواصل الرسائل الاجتماعي في أولاد عم إلي في الأردن، كان تغير نمط الزواج عندهم في اختيار شريكة الحياة. في السابق كان خلص يروح يحكي لوالدته شوفي لي بنت وكذا ما بعرف شو، تروحي وجارتها وتلف على الحارة مرتين وثلاث وأربعة وتوسع شوي الدائرة. كانت تستغرق العملية 6 ل7 شهور تقريبا يعني حتى يكون بخيار ملائم. الآن بنهي كل شيء على الفيسبوك وهو في مكانه وبيحكي لوالدته في فلان عنده بنت شوفي لي إياها.
Okay, but interesting. But how do you relate this to the idea of separation integration?
في العربي ممكن؟
إيه كيف تربط هالشيء بال separation integration يعني
انفصل الشخص عن عائلته في اتخاذ قراره اللي كان أول سابق. يعني كان لما يجي فجأة هيك فكرة الزواج يجلس مع والده ومع والدته وكل أفراد العائلة وناقشه مع الجلستين 3 بعد ما يقدم يعني الهدايا والقرابين والأمور هاي كلها. بس الآن ما عاد هذا الكلام.
So in a way, basically, the decision of marrying now is not just limited, is not influenced by the family, it's more influenced by an individual choice. So, yes, in a way it's separation, the idea of separating myself, my decisions, my choice basically from my parents' influence. Yes?
الدمج كان سابقا العائلي قبل التواصل الاجتماعي، كان مثلا في يقعدوا مع بعض مثل ما اعطيت مثال حضرتك بالاول، يتناقشوا، يسمع الاب تسمع الام قضايا من اولادها. اليوم اكبر وقت بيقضوه هو عن طريق وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي، صارت النصيحه ياخذها من زملائه ما عاد بياخذها من اهله. هي بتلعب دور كثير كبير، يعني هلا المؤثر في الشباب او الصبايا بالجامعات او بالمدارس اصدقائهم اكثر من اهله، لانه ما في وقت انه يقعد معهم. يوم بيكون عنده وقت فراغ بيقعد على الكمبيوتر، على الواتساب، على وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي اكثر ما بيقعدوا العائله مع بعضها. فهي بقدر ما كانت الى ايجابي دور لعبت انه ساهم مثلا سرعه وصول الخبر، سرعه الاطلاع، سرعه ايصال الخبر. مثل المهجرين هلا اللاجئين يشجعوا بعض، يبعثوا صوره يغري مثلا هي المانيا، هي صوره حلوه، هي بحر، هي مي، هي كذا، فشجعوا اللجوء. هي اعطوني ملابس، هي اعطوني سياره، اعطوني كذا، فاستقطبوا بسرعه. نفس الشيء هلا اليوم صار في فراغ عائلي، صار كل واحد لحاله. سيئته انه انا برايي فصلت كل فرد بالاسره لحاله، صار قراره من نفسه اكثر ما يعتمد على القرار العائلي سوا مع بعض.
اوكي. مهم جدا. It's very important one thing. I really don't see. I mean, what you're saying is very important and it's very true. But to look at things today from the idea that today is worse than before, I don't think it's healthy to see it this way. You see what I mean? Like, families today are really doing well. Okay? Not better, but we can't say well or worse or هيدا. We are responding to cultural, social, political changes, technological changes constantly. So this notion of something that happened before is better than today, this nostalgic feeling, I don't think it's healthy. And the same thing applies to technology. I can't say that technology is basically destroying our families, because the technology of yesterday didn't do this basically, and they're not going. Social media is not going to do the same thing today. Not going to destroy. We are responding, and this is key issue in this whole lecture, that it's not really the idea of destroying. It's because we have power. The family has power. You see what I mean? To respond to those changes and to use those changes in the most effective way to maintain its system. And this is key. So nostalgic aspect is not really accurate. Yes. Okay, تفضل.
اوكي. انا مثلا بحس انه العلاقات العائليه دخلنا نورم جديد، هي الديجيتال كوميونيكيشن. عرفت كيف؟ مثلا قصه الواتساب والفيس تايم، هيدي عندنا بمجتمعنا العربي الانسكيور، اتس سكيور يوتيليتي. عرفت كيف؟ انا بدي اعرف مثلا بنتي وين راحت، ابني وين راح، دير تك تك تك، I'm really satisfied. هذه ما كانت موجوده قبل. ثانيا كلنا نحن بالعالم العربي عندنا اولاد يا بامريكا يا بكندا يا بلندن يا وين ما كان. عرفت كيف؟ كلنا عم نعمل شيء اسمه جروب، ان كان على الفيس تايم ولا على الواتساب، عم نتواصل يوميا، لا بل تواصل اكثر من وقت اللي كانوا موجودين عندنا بالبيت. مزبوط. عرفت كيف؟ يعني صارت نورم معينه. يعني حتى مثلا انا باخذ ابني استاجر بيت، ما قرر على البيت الا وقت فرجى اون ديتاي بالفيس تايم فاجل. عرفت كيف؟ بكندا. يعني بالعكس الامور ممكن تكون لها ايجابيات اكثر ما واحد بيتوقع. هي اساس البيت كيف انبنى، كيف الواحد بيشارك. صارت الديجيتال كوميونيكيشن هي نورم بالعلاقات العائليه، وجدت شئنا ام ابينا، خاصه بالمجتمع عندنا المخربط الانسكيور.
Exactly. And also can say that there's a verbal communication, there's a non-verbal communication, and there's now a digital communication to a certain extent, like 3 layers. Although the digital communication is based on verbal sometimes and non-verbal, it's a combination. But it's a new layer of communication that could be used for the positive or for the negative, to destroy or to build connections. Yes?
على الموضوع اللي كنت عم تقوله انه اتس نوت هيلثي نرجع كثير لورا نقول لا قبل احسن او هلا احسن. انا برايي انه لانه صار فيها الانفتاح هذا الكثير كبير، لازم كلنا، انا كشخص يعني بنطلق من نفسي ومن الاهل كمان، كيف اذا بده يربوا اولادهم ويوجهون بهيدا العالم بالذات لازم يكونوا selective between the past, the good things in the past and the good things in the present time. اهم شيء بالموضوع انه not to lose value، يعني value of things يلي مثلا الاولاد بحبوها. يمكن السوشيال ميديا شوي عم تعمل نوع من الفراغ، يعني اللي عنده فراغ عاطفي بمحل معين بحطه على الفيسبوك كله او بحطه على تويتر. هيدي هون السيكرت بالموضوع، انه how to be selective. على هالاساس الاهل او اي شخص هو كفرد لازم ينتبه يحدد. yes. يعني that's my point. yeah. to be selective، يعني ما فيك تطلع من هالعالم اللي كثير فيه openness هالقد.
Exactly. I need to give you one example. I mean, you reminded me of a story. And I need your opinion. Recently, I had a client. She came to me and she told me that I am talking to a person. She's married. I'm talking now to a person on WhatsApp, a stranger. I mean, he is her friend. And the relationship started developing in more romantic, although she's married. But she was telling me that because I had problems with my husband, and that person started talking to me, so I felt I enjoyed my time talking to that person. But I hated myself. So this is why I came here today to you to try as much as possible to get rid of this relationship. Okay? And I didn't develop much. It's just like talking, but she didn't feel comfortable. Although she had problems with her husband. In a way, we can look at it from integration separation. I am with my husband, but I have problems, so I go and search for a substitute with another person. Do you think this could have happened without social media? Yes or no? And how? No? I mean, because this is the key. I mean, many times people would say, because of WhatsApp, we have such relationships. Sorry? That was one at a time. Okay. تفضل.
What I was اللي كنت رح اقوله انه هاي الاشياء ما كانت موجوده وطلعت من العدم، هي اوريدي موجوده، بس السوشيال ميديا والاعلام الجديد وكل هاي الوسائل المكشوفه.
It's like what you were saying.
Exactly. It's just exposing it. بس يعني مش اكثر ولا يمكن حتى كان.
It boosted يعني it's kind of the catalyst. It's like it's.
بالضبط أيوة.
It made it faster and easier.
Exactly. بس إنه قبل كان ممكن طرق إنه عشان.
طب how did they? I mean.
بحكي يمكن قبل كانت إنه مثلا إذا كان في مشاكل يمكن ضمن إطار الحياة الزوجية أو كذا، ممكن إنه سواء الزوج أو الزوجة كان ممكن يلاقوا شريك ثاني يرتاحوا له مثل هاي الست بشغلهم، بحياتهم اليومية، بالسوشيال نتوركينج، أي طريقة كانوا بالضبط يجتمعوا فيها مع أي حدا، ممكن إنهم يفرقوا بهاي الطريقة. فبس السوشيال ميديا هو عبارة عن إنه في خلينا نحكي صار ممسك يمكن أنت تنكمش بالضبط ووسيلة أسرع.
أوكي.
100%.
بعد ما حكيت.
Wait, please wait.
هاي اول شيء المدام يعني عم تحكي على الواتساب كان فيها تحكي تتلاقى فيه بالسوبر ماركت عادي ويساعدها بالكيس ويكملوا حياتهم وهي لانه.
Yes, and I know a person who is doing this basically. She get to know, and also she came to me because she had problems with something similar to this, but more like he was her neighbor in the street.
Okay. So ما خص الواتساب بس كان بدي اعطي اكزامبل ثاني عن شيء صاير عندي بالبيت. اول ما كان عندي اكونت على تويتر يعني من شي 4 سنين، بيي ما كان بيعرف هو دكتور بالجامعه بس انه ما خصه بالتكنولوجيا، فعم خبر خيي عن حدا انه لحقني على تويتر. قلت له لحقني على تويتر؟ بيي لحقك؟ مين لحقك؟ ليه لحقك؟ عمل لك شيء؟ ما عاد يفهم شو تويتر ومين لحقني ولا لحقني. بعدين تعرف على فيسبوك، صار عنده بيج وهو بيكتب كتب، صار يحط الكتب، صار عنده فانز. هلا بيجي بيقول لي لحقني فلان من امريكا، حكاني فلان. قبل كان يقول لي انه خلص بلا انترنت، بدلكم كل وقت قاعدين على الانترنت. هلا بنقعد معه، بيقعد هو على الفيسبوك وبيرد على الناس، وناس اجوا من السفر وتعرف عليهم وهيك. انا هلا بصير له بليز بابا خلص اترك فيسبوك، اقعد معنا شوي. فانقلبت
yes. And it's interesting the idea of translating follow
لحقني
لحق. لحق it has more negative maybe.
بس انه هي شو بتقولها بالعربي؟
No. Same thing. It has this feeling of stalking. Yeah, but it's not.
He followed me on Twitter. شو بالعربي شو لحقني؟
يتابعك.
Okay.
طيب like just two comments and then I need to move to the second tension. Who didn't talk yet?
I think that integration and separation, we can call it on the same practice.
On?
We can call it on the same practice. ممكن حد يشوف حاجة إنها integration وممكن حد تاني يشوف إنها separation.
كيف؟
يعني مثلا أنا عندي ممكن أقول إنه في two groups of friends. في friends from school, from university, and other friends from virtual world. We have mutual interests. such as يعني لو حد مثلا بيحب يتفرج على Italian movies أو French movies ممكن join group عنده same interests. It's a kind of separation.
So your separation from your family.
Yes,
is an integration.
Real friends
exactly.
who don't have the mutual.
Yes. Yes.
And وفي نفس الوقت أنت يعني بيبقى في integration مع إنه gratify my needs.
Yes. An example of this is basically. I know a person also. I was working with a person, with a teenager. كمان his parents basically asked me. They brought him. Please fix him. Fix him. Why? Because he was kind of living on an application every night. From there's a 7-hour difference. I mean, he got to know from an application. A friend, an American, he's Lebanese, so he got to know an American girl, and they got in love with each other. So he was basically sleeping and going on during the day based on her time. Okay, so like he comes back from school, he sleeps from 4 to 7. From 4 to 6 to 9, and then he wakes up from 9 to 4 in the morning because she comes back from school as well. And this made his parents crazy because he's not living. So yeah, in a sense, yes, it's kind of separation from them with his lifestyle, new lifestyle of sleeping and going on in his life, and basically integration with the girl in the US. طيب, one last comment before I move on.
هلا بدنا نحكي اكثر عن الميديا بشكل عام. زمان لما كنا احنا صغار كنا كثير معلقين بالتلفزيون، بالموسيقى، بالمسجل، الكاسيت، الامور هاي كلها. اهالينا ما كانوا عم يستوعبوا هاي الفكره انه شو اللي انتم قاعدين عم تعملوه طول 24 ساعه او 7 ساعات او 3 ساعات او سو ايفر قدام التلفزيون، تحضروا افلام، تسمعوا اغاني. فاحنا بيجيلنا لما احنا كبرنا واولادنا كمان بلشوا يكبروا they expose themselves على السوشيال ميديا بشكل عام نعمل نفس الشيء، عم نتذكر نفس الشيء اهالينا كيف كانوا، انه انتم ليش قاعدين طول الوقت على الكمبيوتر 24 ساعه على الكمبيوتر. حتى دراستهم sometimes في منهم عم بيصفوا عم بيشتغلوا بدراستهم ومدرستهم على الكمبيوتر. هي فكره انا بتخيل الجيل اللي قبل قديش قادر يتقبل التطور السريع اللي قاعد.
This is what I'm going to explain now. Yes.
بالضبط.
Exactly.
هاي نقطة. النقطة الثانية for example مثلا أنا أولادي كانوا يقولوا لي ماما أنتِ over protective. وين رايحين؟ وين جايين؟ ليش قاعدين؟ ما تطلع، ما تتأخر، ما تروح، ما تيجي. لدرجة إنه صار في عندي علاقات شوي ناشفة بيني وبين أولادي. هلا لما واحد منهم تغرب حسيت أوكي هلا هو بعيد عني physically بس ايموشنلي كثير صار اقرب مني.
Yes.
صار يتواصل عن طريق الميديا اكثر معي، انه انا رايح المكان الفلاني، انا عامل كذا، انا بدي اشوف كذا. فعم بحس انه مش بالضروره السوشيال ميديا تكون هي السبب، هي بيسكلي التطور السريع اللي قاعد عم بيصير، والجاب اللي بين كل جنريشن والثانيه، قديش احنا قادرين نستوعب هذا التطور، وقديش احنا ممكن انه تو انتجريت تفكيرنا وانه احنا نمشي معهم شوي شوي لحتى نقدر نفهمهم، وقديش بنفس الوقت هن قادرين يكونوا مور بيشنت معنا، انه يعلمونا شوي شوي شو اللي قاعد عم بيصير، شو عم نتصرف، شو الاشياء الجديده اللي عم بتصير. this is okay، هذا هو الامور. يعني هي بشكل عام اكثر بالتواصل الاجتماعي بين الاهل والتربيه، وقديش تقبل الانسان للتغيير اكثر من انه
Actually, this is one of the main comments at the end, recommendations. Thank you. By the way, for example, I have two comments, very quick comments. You are doing now separation integration. How? Kif? Yes. If you, for example, so many times you're not really interested in this discussion, you separate yourself on social media. Okay, so this is a form of regulating this tension. Another example of the benefit of social media sometimes, I know a couple, and maybe this is happening to you as well, most probably. You meet, you have a date, you go out with the person, your fiance, for example. You go back home, and that person sends you, "I love you." Okay, he doesn't say it face to face. It's easier for him to say it on WhatsApp. Could be. You see what I mean? So it's facilitating the expression of emotions. Online. Okay, now the stability changed, this tension. And when we discuss digital media, it's because it's a new medium, it's a new media. So there's a sense of that we're going for change. It's an innovation versus stability, which means like I'm going to preserve my traditions, the rules, the family rules, family disciplines. Okay, so anyway, from what we call domestication perspective of social media is how we are basically consuming it and incorporating it in our daily life. And this is what's happening basically. It's something that is flexible and it's adapting to our social life in a way. Maybe it's changing it from in one aspect of it, it's changing many aspects of it, but at the same time we have the force to integrate it into things that we like to do and we want to do. So there's a tension between past versus future orientations in families. Rizq Allah, we need to go back versus no, it's like more the change. And usually conservative societies prefer to stay as is. The things we know are better than the devils I don't know in the future. So let's keep things as is. There's a fear of change. This is the idea of anxiety. Versus, and sometimes with the youth, no, it's like future oriented. They have this orientation, the value of everything new is great. And I need to try new things. I need to develop. And this is highlighted in our use of digital media. Digital anxiety as well in terms of uncertainties. The idea of what is the effect of this medium? Have this in mind. What's going to happen to my child if he keeps working, using his those applications or his cell phone? What's going to happen to his eyes physically, like to his physical health, basically sometimes. And at the same time, from the parents' anxiety versus children's as technology brokers, anyway, parents rely more and more on their children to teach them the new language and to get them introduced to new societies, to new ideas. Okay? Are you a technology broker for your family? Like they ask you how to fix the cell phone? Okay. So there's a sense here, in a way, I'm going to discuss it later on. In a way, there's a power struggle, especially with the know-how for children. And many times, what I'm noticing here, and this is the idea, this is why it's not something negative or positive. I see a lot of parents today, just to keep their children silent and calm and away from them, to gain more privacy for them, they give the child, the toddler, a tablet to spend hours in it, using it, right? So they are also using it themselves, in a way, for a specific agency, for a specific need, okay? So this is the idea of, we had discussion of stability and change. So I want you to tell me just like 2-3 stories of how this is basically negotiated in your families or in other families, on your friends' families.
اوكي بس بدي احكي انه احنا عاده لما كنا صغار في نمط من التنشئه الاسريه، فكنا نفكر انه لما نكبر ما راح نربي اولادنا بنفس الطريقه اللي اهلنا ربونا فيها. بس لما كبرنا لقينا حالنا انه اوتوماتيكلي في بعض الممارسات احنا عم بنطبقها، مع انه احنا داخليا كنا بنرفضها، انه ما بدنا اياها. لكن بنرجع بنقول، انا في مقوله دائما بستشهد فيها لسيدنا علي، انه ربوا اولادكم لزمن غير زمانكم. فانه فعلا انه هذا الجيل والتكنولوجي بتفرض علينا انه احيانا we have to deal with them in a certain way which is different than the way we have raised on. التكنولوجيا is a must، بس بدنا نعرف كيف نوجههم بالطريقة الصحيحة حتى يستخدموها، وبنفس الوقت not to feel shame to discuss with them certain issues, whether it's related to sex, to gender, to whatever, because knowing certain information from us is better than searching on internet by themselves and knowing bad knowledge or wrong information.
Yes, thank you.
أنا هحكي على موقف يعني حصل. أنا كنت بدرس لطفل كان حوالي يعني 9 سنين أو 8 سنين. هي المشكلة إن أهله كانوا فخورين جدا إن هو بيعرف يستخدم السوشيال ميديا كويس قوي، بيعرف يسيرش أي حاجة على جوجل، بيعرف يسيرش أي حاجة على اليوتيوب. الولد ما شاء الله كان ذكي جدا، كان عنده انفورميشن، كان يقعد بيكلمني عن بلاك هول وعن حاجات غريبة أنا شخصيا ما أعرفهاش. بس when it comes إن هو يرياكت بقى مع الناس، لا، كان very violent. كان في المدرسة طبعا ما كانش عارف يرياكت مع أصحابه خالص، على طول قاعد لوحده. فأنا طلبت منهم إن لا، انتوا أنا جمعت الأب والأم، انتوا لازم تقعدوا مع ابنكم. الولد خلاص حصل بقى شبه عنده توحد، يعني هو خلاص في مرحله التوحد، هو رافض اي حاجه غير السوشيال ميديا، هي دي حياته، لان هو لسه صغير، لسه مش عارف الفرق ما بين ان في فاميلي وان في سوشيال ميديا وانا اقدر انتجريت بتوين ذم. لا، هو شايف ان انتوا الاثنين موجودين ودي موجوده وانا اخترت دي ورفضته تماما. وعموما ده اي حد بيتكلم معايا، الولد ده كان شاطر جدا جدا جدا، بس مشكلتي معاه ان هو كنت عايزاه بس ركز، يعني هو على طول باصص في السماء، يعني على طول شايف فوق، حاسس ان هو عايش في حياه مش حياته. انا كنت بالظبط بمسك راسه واحطها في الكتاب عشان يعرف يركز. كنت ممكن اقعد معاه 3 ساعات، مع انه لو هو عادي بذكائه ده مش هيكمل معايا ربع ساعه، بس عشان اجيبه تركيزه عشان ارجعه تاني للريل لايف انا كنت باخد وقت كبير قوي. فهي دي اللي انا بتكلم فيه، ان الاهل انا ممكن ابقى فعلا دلوقتي انا بنت اختي عندها 2 سنين وبتعرف تتعامل مع اليوتيوب ومع جوجل مع كل حاجه، بنبقى فرحانين، بص دي ذكيه ازاي، بص بتفتح اللوك ازاي، بس في وقت معين لا، هي خلاص ما بقتش عارفينها هي.
So basically you're saying, the more we are using social media, the less our attention we'll develop more attention deficit.
مش احنا، انا شايفه دلوقتي ان احنا بالظبط children، يعني المفروض يبقوا عارفينه كده، بس
So there's a negative effect of social media on our health.
بالظبط.
Whether attention deficit, or maybe sometimes sleep disorder. I mean, there are many studies on this.
بالظبط.
Yes. Do you believe in this? Like more social media, more attention deficit?
I think it makes us very agitated.
Sorry?
I think it makes us very agitated.
But usually we get agitated because it's a translation of this is sleeping. and it's the opposite. يعني we get hyper, the more, hyperactivity is basically the result of not being able to focus. Psychological, I'm saying, from a psychological perspective. But you believe in this? Do you notice it on yourself? That the more you use social media, the more hyperactive, and the more you develop what we call the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder symptoms. You're not ADHD, but you develop symptoms of ADHD. Yes.
أنا لدي نقطة حول تتعلق بالاستقرار والتشينج والتغيير بخصوص القيم والأخلاق التي يزعم أو يدعي الآباء أنهم يحاولون الحفاظ عليها مقابل التغيير الذي صاحب هذا وسائل الإعلام الجديدة السوشيال ميديا. وبالتالي الآباء أو l'ancienne جينيراسيون تحاول أن تحافظ على القيم والعادات والتقاليد الذين عاشوا فيها في مجتمعاتهم مقابل التغير الذي صاحب والقيم التي جاءت مع وسائل الإعلام الجديدة والذي تبناها بسرعة الأطفال والشباب ومستخدمو وسائل الإعلام الجديدة. وبالتالي هنا العلاقة التي تربط بين الاستقرار والتغير هي من باب القيم والأخلاق التي ظهرت واستجدت مع وسائل الإعلام الجديدة. يعني هناك شباب الآن يميلون إلى طرح مغايرة تماما لآبائهم ولأمهاتهم برؤيتهم للعالم، وهذا ما يرفضه أو يحاول أن لا يتقبله الآباء تجاه أبنائهم، يحاولون معارضة ذلك من باب المحافظة على القيم أو محافظة على الأخلاق، يعني الوصاية بين قوسين أو سلوك الأبوية. دائما نحن المسؤولون عن تصرفاتكم ونحن المسؤولون عن هذه النقطة التي أريد إضافتها.
This many times it's at the core of parent-child conflict, tensions. In terms of conflict, صراع. I need to highlight one thing, which is, anyway, because of this exposure to media, to different values, the child is raised today with different. It's like we're talking to having an intercultural communication with the child, because he is physically with us, but mentally he's exposed to many cultures. Like, I give you an example. Many times with my students, sometimes I talk, ex-students, we become friends, different generation, like years apart, but I talk to them on WhatsApp. And I noticed that sometimes, I'm used to hi or kifak. So there's an introduction, there's a body, even on WhatsApp, there's a body, and there's a conclusion at the end, bye, salam, see you. But for the new generation, they don't have this notion. They just send a message and stop. So it's a different mentality. And sometimes parents are not really, I myself, I'm not really comfortable with this. Like, I need to end my conversation. There should be a full stop. Okay? So this is a very tiny example of, different mentality. And the generation is exposed to it, to different cultures, basically, not just one. I need to move. One last comment before I move on to the last section.
بس بدي أكد على نقطة إذا بدنا نحكي عن موضوع التوحد والDHD هو
لا توحد is basically developmental. You can't have توحد by using social media.
هاي النقطة اللي بدي أركز عليها بليز، إنه نقطة كتير مهمة، وأنا معك على اللي كنت عم تحكيه هلا قبل شوي، إنه نقطة كتير مهمة إحنا بدنا نحاول نعرفها. يعني أنا عندي تجربة مثلا شخصية مع أولادي، إذا بسأل السؤال الجواب بكلمة، كيفك؟ منيح. شو عملت اليوم؟ ولا إشي. طب شو بتعمل؟ nothing. إيش يعني nothing؟ يعني كلماتهم زي ما قلت احنا كجنريشن بدنا open a kind of conversation.
Yes.
وهم بالنسبه لهم سؤال وجواب يعني multiple choices، اذا بصح لهم كمان يس ونو بكون كثير احسن. فهاي انا بتخيل هي بتعطي كمان مشكله اكثر، انه احنا قديش ممكن انه ندخلهم اكثر بموضوع الحياه، يعني كconversation بالحياه الاجتماعيه، ونفس الوقت كيف انه احنا نقدر نستوعب كيف هم عم بيشتغلوا لحتى شوي انه احنا نقدر ندخل معاهم بالطريقه تاعتهم، ويكون في بالانس بيننا وبينهم. هاي بتخيل كثير نقطه مهمه وبتمنى انه تنطرح هذه الشغله هلا بالمحاضره.
اوكي. تفضل.
نحن في عندنا شغله اساسيه، الاديوكيشن سيستم ممكن يسهل الامور. مثلا عندنا بالمدرسه نحن السوشيال ميديا صار مودل بلاتفورم، اتلس روبيكن بلاتفورم، SMS، يعني يو ار ان دايركت كوميونيكيشن مع الاهل والتيوتر والتلاميذ. عرفت كيف؟ يعني صاروا الاهل they are obligatory involved in this، خاصه بالمودل، لانه on Moodle we post homework assignment. The student go and create group to solve this assignment, especially if it is a group assignment. ما مجبورين بقى يروحوا لعند بيوت بعض. They do it. عرفت كيف؟ But education has this very positive role to show the positive part of the social media using these platforms, Moodle, Atlas Republican, or
even today on WhatsApp. I mean, children. I don't. Maybe you did it.
لا they share it on Moodle. لأنه Moodle they could create a group. عرفت كيف؟
Yes. No, but I'm saying even today with teenagers sharing homeworks on WhatsApp.
This is the good part of it.
And you have like group, like parents group.
Math group, science group, English group.
Okay. So the third tension, expression, non-expression, it has to do. The focus is on communication, on talking, opening up versus closing. I mean, and shutting down. Extrovert versus introvert. And the public versus the idea of public versus private, especially when it comes to societies. Sometimes one value of a conservative society is the public is different from the private. What's happening inside the house stays in the house. Okay? And you have digital media basically is breaking with this norm. No, what's happening inside the house can be on Facebook instantly. So it's creating, it's affecting this tension in a way. Privacy management, we should all have privacy management. Like imagine yourself talking to a person and that person starts saying that I got, I was sexually abused by a person, and then the next another month I went and I met that guy, and imagine having this person talking to you. What do you feel? Or a person suddenly, like you meet this person 2-3 days, and suddenly that person will come and say, "I love you." Okay, what do you feel? It didn't respect specific way of appropriate way of communication, because that person is not really managing his privacy well. So there's a sense of privacy management, rules of how and when and what and the depth of information. I mean, how and when we talk, basically, and what we talk about. So there are specific rules. Those rules could be personal, it could be social, family-related rules. So, anyway, this idea of public versus private is intensified by digital media. Do you believe this, that Facebook, Instagram tends to be more public versus Snapchat more private? There's a study done on this, and they found out that this is the perception that I use Facebook, even among the young generation. Facebook, Instagram are for public things, while if I'm sending a message private to friends, it's more Snapchat. Do you have this? No? No. Or yes? I'll give you the microphone. I mean, let me just explain those, then I'll give you time to speak. Privacy rules and cultural values. So it depends on how much the society is conservative. The more conservative the society, the more there's a big, the more the discrepancy basically of privacy, the more rigid the boundaries between private and public. Privacy rules versus gender differences. Women tend to speak more, be more extrovert, especially emotionally, than males. Expression, I'm saying the expression of emotions, not the experience. Sometimes the experience of emotions the anger, the joy, the happiness, is more at the, for guys, for males. I'm not saying experience, I'm saying the expression of emotions. Okay, tends to be more higher for females. Privacy rules and emotions. Anyway, sometimes not just like the idea of gender differences, it's the idea of what type of emotion should be expressed versus keep it to ourselves. So if I'm angry, maybe sometimes I don't express it. While if I'm happy, I express it. Fixing privacy turbulences, this is a technical word that says that sometimes parents notice that their child is basically exposing too much information on Facebook, too many private things, it's like reality TV. So they run to fix this idea of privacy. This is right, this is wrong. So they do this idea of fixing the turbulences. Family typology. When I say typology, it's the type of families. Sometimes, we can differentiate 4 types of families. A family that has high rules, low communication. High rules, low communication. This is a typical authoritarian family. What we نفذ ثم اعترض, like just obey my order and then comment on it. So نفذ ثم اعترض, this is the idea of authoritarian family, is high discipline, high rules, low communication. We expect that yes, in this type of families, there's more non-expression than expression. Another type of family, high communication, high rules, authoritative. There's an authority for parents, but at the same time there's an explanation of why this is happening. This is good for your health. Okay? And we expect that such type of families, communication, the tension, there's a tension, but sometimes they allow more expression on social media. The third type of family is more communication, less rules and discipline. This is an emotional family. What do you expect in this family? Sorry? More expression online. More expression online. And there's a fourth type of family, which is no rules, no communication, laissez-faire family. It's like every member is living, it's like a system. It's a made up of bubbles. Every member is living by his own, her own. What do you expect? Of course it exists. It exists. I see it every day. So the laissez-faire family, yes, we expect maybe there are not specific privacy management rules because there are no rules. Everyone has the right to speak whatever they want. And by the way, for the cultural values, recently I noticed, like one of my clients, she's from Saudi Arabia. And after a while, she sent me a friend request on Facebook, but I didn't know that it's her name. She was calling herself something, I'm not going to give you the name because you're going to search for it. It's a Disney character. Okay? So she was managing her privacy basically by calling herself differently on Facebook. Sorry? Yes, because culturally maybe she cannot expose herself too much on Facebook, otherwise her family, parents would say things and would stop her. Can you give me examples of the idea of expression and expression? Yes. No, I need stories from your life about the tension of expression and expression.
Personally, I found that like several points linked to each other from the perspective of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. Like for me, I have Facebook where there's like the entire family, the close-knit family and the bigger family. And then I have a private Twitter account where I can express my there's certain thoughts and that would be considered unacceptable or too liberal. So it also links back to the expression and the non-expression. I guess if I had to identify my family dynamic, it would be authoritative. The second kind where there's rules, but there's also communication. But I think like my family wants to be the kind of family where you can tell me anything, except you can actually just really openly talk about things that you know they're going to agree with you upon.
Yes.
But you can't really express other perspectives. So that's where the expression and the non-expression happens. You can express things that are relatively agreeable or things that are not going to create a conflict of opinions. Whereas when you have to voice other thoughts, you need to not express them with the family. So you go to more private places such as Twitter versus Facebook.
Yes. You reminded me of a friend once told me, he's from Morocco, that in Morocco, for example, you cannot discuss 3 things. You have the right to say whatever you want except 3 things. And I expect the same thing happening inside our family sometimes. Sex, politics, and religion. You see? But this is why it's not just in Morocco, but it's happening. So we have sometimes like taboo topics. Yes, talk whatever you want, except those specific topics. You're not allowed to talk about. So yes, this is how sometimes we cope with those tensions. Opening up on any topic except this particular topic inside the family. One last story, yes.
يمكن إذا بنحكي أكثر مثلا عن privacy rules والgender differences. For example لما بتكون أنت مثلا على public page على محطة أخبار على الفيسبوك، بيكون عم بيحكوا شيء عن مثلا موضوع الطائفية، عن موضوع مثلا الحرب بسوريا، هذا مع هذا ضد، بتلاحظ انه اغلب الكومنتس اللي بتكون فيها bad words وكلمات كثير يعني خلينا نقول بالزنار ونازل بردوا على بعض ككومنتس اغلبهم شباب او رجال بشكل عام. هلا اذا اجت وحده من البنات علقت تعليق معين بتركوا الموضوع الاصلي وبنزلوا فيها انه كيف انت عم بتعلقي بهاي الطريقه وانت كذا. فهذا موضوع الاكسبريشن والنون اكسبريشن كمان قديش مسموح فيه بالجندر ايشوز، يعني الديفرنس بين الجندر. كيف مسموح لك انت لانك شاب انك تحكي سوري على بابليك بيج بهاي الطريقه وهي نشره اخبار خلينا نقول او صفحه اخباريه تحكي بهاي الالفاظ بهاي الطريقه. اجين بنرجع نقول زي ما انت حكيت انه حتى بالبيت مش مفروض انها تكون مسموح فيها ينحكى فيها او بحياتك الاجتماعيه بشكل عام. فانت اكسبوز اكثر عم تحكي بهذا الاشي عن طريق السوشيال ميديا.
Yes, true. Yes, one last comment. Thank you.
I think as anything we get to be to come new into our lives, it's safe to ذو حدين. It has positives and negatives. My opinion is how much we expose our lives in person reflects on how much we expose on social media, which means that the example that Wissam just said, that a lady would comment on something in a male-dominant society will have the same response if she did that in person. So we still don't have the mentality to understand the difference between virtual versus personal. The hair is very thin that nobody still can distinguish. And that's why a lot of people are hiding behind false personality to be able to say whatever they want. They can't take any insults, any offensive language and reply at the same time because nobody knows me. But if we have stable personalities, stable mentalities, the way we act outside is the way we act virtually.
Yes. You reminded me of one story. Sometimes, it's not one story, it's like a comment. A general note, I notice something on Facebook sometimes. Like friends, they break up or they get divorced and suddenly they start basically ينشروا الغسيل. It's like they expose their laundry, they talk about that guy in public, they don't care anymore. So anyway, yes, when it comes to rules of emotions, rules and emotions, sometimes we don't need to manage our privacy because we're so fed up. Let everyone know about my problem. Yes. Yeah, but we use Facebook as a platform to go more aggressive. It's like a weapon. We did recently on my page, we asked people, do you check your partner's cell phone secretly? You do that? Do you check your partner's هل تتفقد هاتف الشريك دون علمه? Do you check your partner's cell phone secretly? So, what we found out basically is the majority, of course, they will say no. 52% don't. 33% rarely. Or sometimes, and 10% rarely. 5% most of the time. Okay? And what we noticed is that females check their partners, their husband's cell phone or their fiance's cell phone because of lack of trust. But at the same time, from a male's perspective, they don't check it intentionally because to preserve their privacy. If I check it and she knows about it, she's going to check my cell phone. So no, it's like maintaining this privacy. Okay? The females, they are more concerned about trust. Males are more concerned about privacy. Check it. I mean, you can measure it on yourself. The last tension, very quickly, how much did I get? Like 4 minutes? 2 minutes only? Okay. Authority versus fluid structure. So with the idea of today is, anyway, there's a tension between, do we go over parenting? We do micromanagement, parenting, like giving my son a cell phone and following, it's like a GPS, okay? Or we leave them. So this is a tension. And more, with the higher authority of parents, there's a sense of, for children, we know more. So in a way, there's a more form of democratization of family relations. It's like a balance of between a high power for parents, the structured power, obey me because I'm your father, your mother, while for children, it's more like the low power of protesting, of going around, doing things secretly, the low power. So there's a form of tension. And I'm going to end, basically, by just like discussing this whole model, saying that the family has many differences, each family has many differences, psychological, personal, physical, relational, social, cultural differences. And each family is different from another family. We cannot just say that all families are doing the same thing. Each family has its own needs, own voices, internal voices, and it interacts with the community, also in terms of tensions. So anyways, and social media is basically the catalyst. It's a form, it's a tool, in addition to other tools of balancing integration versus separation, stability versus change, expression versus non-expression, authority versus fluid structure. So if we look at this as social media, as digital media from this perspective, we won't be, I mean, it's not fair to just look at it from positive versus negative or from an effect perspective. It's just a tool, a weapon that we use it for a purpose. And thank you.